Everybody, thanks a lot for joining us. We're here, we're live, and someone's already said it in the comment section, but it is just like Christmas Eve, guys. And it feels like we've had a few Christmas Eves when it comes to Sorare over the years, and as I say that out loud, I know it to be true, but I struggle to, maybe like Global Cup, the Euros, the introduction of cap modes and thresholds. There's been a few, when we had a lot La Liga and Bundesliga coming on, when we had the Premier League coming on, we've had a lot of kind of Christmas Eves and new beginnings and new chapters. But like I've said on, the End Product podcast, the deadline show that we do every week with Harry, as well as all the other content here, there and everywhere, is it feels like, I suppose, that was all kind of chapters of a book, and very much now we are here for Christmas Eve of Game Week 1. So if you were here before Game Week 1, I think we're in the early camp. If for all of you guys that have been here for a fair length of time, we can lock that one up. Book 1, Volume 1 of Sorare is on the shelf, and we're all getting set for Volume 2, Season 2, whatever you want to think of it as for Game Week 1, where 4 or 5 years have passed, the game has developed and moved on, matrices have changed, as well as the competition format, and a bunch of other stuff, scarcity of cards, of course, with Introduction Unlimited. So much has been happening. I've been out of town for a week. I had a kind of family thing, kind of half booked already. My best friend died last week. I don't want to say too much about it because it's my dog, number one, to get that out there. And it's really hurt me hard. And so thanks everyone for kind of the patience with like the member stuff. We'll be doing members lineup builders. I'll be building the members lineups tomorrow before we get live with the deadline show. Tonight is about just getting kind of ready. I've got my teams kind of half rebuilt about 5 times over already. And I'm sure they'll go through another draft or two before we actually get to the deadline, which will be on tomorrow with me and Harry Trades, of course. But I've got the Jona game on as well. I've actually got my season kicking off this midweek with Jona and Getafe both playing today. A lot of super rares for me. No rare action really outside of some stuff across the world. We'll have a wee look at it in a second, I suppose. So yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of my season 5 or whatever it is with FC Barcelona. I think it's season 5, yeah. And we're really getting ready for the main event. This is like a little appetizer for me here on screen 1 in the studio before we get to the main course of the weekend with the return of the Premier League. The rest of match day 1 of La Liga, as well as lots of other stuff. But there is no SPFL action because it's a Scottish League Cup weekend. So no SO5 utility for the hoops, unfortunately. So in terms of FC Barcelona, it's still another non-full strength game week. But it will be a good one we've been looking forward to, one we've been building towards, and one that I've had a lot of strategies. Like I've planted seeds for a long time on Sorare for a lot of different strategies at a lot of different levels of the game. And as it's evolved and moved, like I've had to make adjustments, and we've spoken about that endlessly on the channel, I suppose. I've never had to be too seismic as long as I've kind of stayed true to like a kind of center North Star of why I'm playing the game and where I see it going into volume 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hopefully, let's see as the years and the seasons roll on, which they certainly are at this point. And really now, like the way the game has been reformatted, it feels like what Sorare have done is they've really crystallized. Like, so before when I've been on the channel and I've been building different strategies, just name them A, B, and C or whatever, like I'm kind of saying to you guys, I'm doing this because the purpose and the objective of this is to do A, B, C, X, Y, Z, whatever, 1, 2, 3. And, it's like, okay, I can kind of see what he's doing there, All-Star, and then, whatever other stuff was going on at the time. Lots of stuff has changed, so it's been a never moving feast, as it were. But now the way everything is set up, and we've been saying this for a while, but Classic being card-centered, in-season being very money-centered, especially if you've seen the Champions League and Europa League, Conference League announcement yesterday or the day before, whenever that came out. It really crystallizes what the card's job is doing for you in the gallery, how many cards you need, what the competition strength you're going to be up against is going to be like, is a much more known quantity, a much more known element, really, than ever before. And along with a lot of other stuff that, you guys in the live chat, I'm sure will be throwing out there as we're live tonight. And anyone in the comment section that's catching us after we've been live, of course, fist bump to you. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys, at any point in the stream tonight. If you do, laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, that's what we're all about here on the 23,001 channel with the FC Barcelona. That's you guys, community. It's a bunch of chat to get live, to get caught up with. We're in the 56th minute of Jona versus Bettis. And I must say, as I do that, by the way, guys, I do look forward to getting back to watching a lot more games this season. Last season in the studio here, we managed to cover a lot of games and do some good content. And really, it was for nothing because it was before Rivals and like maybe I've got cards and you're just here for a live chat and a bit of a banter or whatever. But now with Rivals and stuff, like we'll be doing a lot more kind of co-coms games, watch-along games, whatever you want to think of them as. We can rival it up. We can have some good fun. I should be recording a little video doing my kind of Rivals. I don't want to say preview because it's not really that, but like maybe strategy for the weekend. What games I'm going to watch, what Rivals encounters I'm going to try and target, and why. And maybe the why might be quite repetitive as the season goes on because, it's a very distinct game mode and failing any changes, you can get a pattern of play to put together, and that could be something we could have a lot of fun with pre-weekend and post-weekend. What did you watch? What did we like? What did we not like? Any talents we've picked up? We can have lots of fun. We can do lots of stuff with it. This is the midweek we're sitting in at the moment, so it is the final threshold. Game week 501, as it is being called, for 240. And sadly, the Jona boys haven't really got totally firing yet into this game. There's still a lot of hope. Captain Ivan Martin is nipping about. Just need him, Gutierrez, to do something. Stu Ant to come off the bench, and maybe we're going to get that. We're going to get that mid-target. We're going to secure that wee mid-target threshold in, which would be lovely. Sorry, his game started at 6. No clean sheet for him. A 43 on match day 1 is what it is. And otherwise, yeah, we've not really got anything of note. We did have an all-star team that's waiting on Captain Hebert. I thought 2 Fridays in a row. Big Hebert he's getting his sauce at home now, isn't he? Triple decisive last week. There's no way this guy's not grinning ear to ear every day now. Well, the bonus match he probably got after that game. So another Friday night match. Brian Heal, by the way, has been sensational tonight without being the finished article yet. Obviously, been quite rusty and injury prone and not had regular game time, but a lot of really good early promise from him tonight. He's just struck one from the edge of the box. It's kind of zung off to the left-hand corner. But this has got a bit of hope. Amundsen over Chenot was a massive mistake because Chenot did... How well did Chenot do? It was in the 60s and I've got a 15% on him. 65. So yeah, that'd have been a 70 plus. Easy. So that's a bit of a faux pas for me. So we need Hebert to carry some weight. He did 100 last weekend. Can he do it again? Or he didn't quite do 100. He did like 95 or something like that. As Bettis make a bunch of subs. And under 23, by the way, guys, I thought this was going to hang a bit higher. This 4-man effort, but tonight it's total. I was like 10th or 12th earlier today before like this batch of games because there's some European qualifiers on the go as well. It's just kicked me right back, but I'll still be winning something. Hopefully, 8 points away from getting kicked out of it altogether. But the guys have put up a good result considering there's no goalkeeper, so I don't think that's something we'll be too mad about. And yeah, Savic and Larson killed this right at the end. 12 points away from a card, thanks to Captain Maxi. And still, Savic, Julian, ouch. So yeah, it's only really the Girona thing we're watching out for tonight, which could be good fun. But we're not really like watching the game. We're not rivalsing it up tonight, per se. But we'll flip between. Look at Blind. Blind, by the way, when I've been watching this, he's been getting so many final third passes. I wonder if that's what he's been getting. Final third 5. That's a bit. It's a bit lean, to be honest with you. Accurate long balls 5. Interesting. 2 interceptions, a tackle. Blind has been really good. I think, like, before we get into it, guys, like Romeo coming back has been an absolute godsend for missing out on Aliesh Garcia. And that might sound a wee bit weird, right? But Yangel's proper box to box, and Ivan Martin is basically a second forward. Abel Ruiz missed a chance there. And it just feels the team's way more balanced now. It might be a wee bit of a thing with the wingers as well. I'm not a big Porto guy. I know Porto can be good, but he just seems to be a guy that doesn't quite... Abel Ruiz is so unlucky there. Ivan Martin playing the overlap and run. I think it might have been Yangel that crossed it in. Yeah, it was. And then Abel Ruiz so close to smashing it in the back of the net. A few FC Barcelona players there linking up, which is cool. Yeah, and Romeo is basically a centre-back, and Blind is overlapping him. So Blind is like creative midfielder, old Aliesh Garcia. Yeah, essentially. So good wee development for new Blind holders, I would say. Like, this could be a really recurring feature of Girona this season. Only conceded 1 goal. You know, it's no clean sheet bonus in effect here either. So yeah, a little interesting detail. And Yangel having a wee bit more freedom to actually get into the box as well. A couple of these are passes, but some of these are like he's just been getting in the box sort of thing. He's been there. Duel 1, fantastic. 4 tackles, 1. Yangel, as long as he stays fit, man, he's a killer. He's a boss. Let's see how Girona do in the Champions League, but yeah, and all the rest of it. But anyway, blah blah blah. So guys, I don't know about you. I need to get you caught up with the live chat. I'm just kind of running into the show, guys. Terribly sorry. Let's pause for the cause. Let's catch up for the live chat, see what you guys are saying. Fist bump to everyone on arrival. Please make sure, if you are having a good time here with me tonight, hit the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't done already. Because this is going to be the biggest season of Sorare ever for me. The biggest season of European football. Just with the reformatting of the Champions League. So much money is slushing about European football. And I know the Prem is where the kind of the spotlight goes and where all the stupid money is. But some of that stupid money has been filtering across Europe for a number of years now. And really, when you look across European football, it's in a bit of a golden age, in my opinion, you know. And this reformatting of European football and all the rest of it, like this could be a great season for fans. Like, if you're just watching football, absorbing football, just love being entertained by this stuff. So I'm hyped, you know. But anyway, let's pause for the cause. Luke Jones was first in on arrival. Fist bump to you, my man. Sorare CT4, how are we? Evan Crightley, Shrew1886, Dazzer, in on the multi account. Love that. Apple22, Ethan. Benny, getting comfy. Love that. Bit of members chat. Ken Carnage, Stein. Ken Carnage again, sorry. Charlie Dunbar, Dominic, Johnny TH, Tatos, fist bump to you, my man. Tom Cuddy, TGN Chrome, Hatligen, fist bump. Oh, I think Gazaniga's just made a big save there. Paul Moorcroft, my man, good to see you. Gully FC, Northern Sports Guards, and if I've missed anyone, I'm terribly sorry, but I will get those fist bumps done on arrival, guys. Thanks very much. And it's a bit of members chat. So the members is £4 if you're in pounds. If you're in your own currency, it's 4 whatevers. Pesos or tacos or dollars and liras and rupees, and you know, it could be anything, but it's 4 whatevers, one of them a week. And we do 2 streams a week when we're on schedule and my life isn't getting turned upside down. We do a lineup builder close to the weekend. We do gallery reviews after the weekend, and you know, gallery reviews, you won't see them on the channel if you're not a member, because we do that in the privacy of the FC Barcelona clubhouse, because we're getting our hands dirty. We're talking about the market. Good catch there from Gazaniga, say fans. And he's released Brian Heal here. This could be dangerous, but it's him and Porto, and he loses the ball. Not enough. Yeah, Cancel anytime. As soon as you get access, there's a link in the description in this video if you want to become a member. Also, if you just click the join button, it's underneath the video, it's on the channel homepage. YouTube will explain it all to you. They want you to get your 24-25 season ticket is what you need for your lineup builder and your gallery reviews once a week. But we're getting our hands dirty. We're going into the market. What players we're selling, who we're buying, what leagues we're trying to win and build, and all the rest of it. So, good crack. And as soon as you become a member, you get access to hundreds of Sorare content you've just never ever seen before. As we see Yangel Herrera break into the 60s. GG's to him. Yeah, we're set for a huge season. Thanks so much to the community we've got on the channel here, where the member streams are brilliant. It's the live chat that run the show. We're building your lineups, we're reviewing your galleries, we're shooting the breeze on whatever it is going on. And really, it's the highlight of my week quite comfortably, you know, when we get round to it. And I'm very thankful again to all the support I've had for me losing Spud, who is he's the silhouette, he's the dog on my club badge here. So gone but never forgotten for sure. For old Spuddy, who was close to turning 16, he had a bit of a heart attack type thing, and it just was a snowball really quickly. It's a bit of a kind of shock to the system for me and the wife. And again, I won't go into it all because this is not what you come here for. So let's not worry about it too much. But yeah, fist bump to everyone on arrival. Thanks to everyone that's chatting about the season tickets and getting stuck in to become a member. If you're not playing Sorare already, there's a link pinned in the live chat description and all the rest of it. You can open your account and get $50, pounds, euros, whatever your currency is, of auction credit, market credit, once you've bought 5 cards of any price from auction or instant buy. And also, exclusive to the channel, one person that does click that link and open their account before kick-off of the Premier League this weekend is going to get a signed Premier League shirt of their choice. So, one person. If you haven't opened an account yet, not a better time, not a better link. Fact. So, get that done here on an 82, if you've not got an account already, of course. And jump into the live chat and let me know what you're up to. Everyone's here for Spud. Thanks very much, Dom. Love that, man. But yeah, like I kind of mentioned, I've not actually got into the live chat. Sorry, guys. I dropped the fist bumps, but I want to see what you're saying as well. Quinny, I bought Savio and Akanji and one Rodri and Guardiola back-to-back Sorare CT4. That is incredible, by the way. That is wowzers. Wowzers. Full Man City stack out of 2 purchases minus the keeper. Love that. Great time of day in Australia for a live stream, Kane Carnage. Love that. I'm playing Sorare since a week and I don't even know what leagues to play and what teams to make. Stian, we'll do that together. Don't worry, buddy. Let me know where you're at in the chat. We'll have a wee blether about it. It's the eve before game week 1, and I know it's because I've changed my number 1 free lineups already. When I'm in Div 1 in season with my rare Gala stack this weekend, buzzing for it. Should be good, man. Challenger's a shooting ground now with no MLS in it. If you've got the stack, I think it's happy hunting. I'll go for lineup building, please, Quinny. Got in it. Johnny, we'll be doing... You must not be in the Telegram group. As soon as you become a member as well, by the way, we've got a Telegram group. Telegram is just like WhatsApp and Discord had a baby, but that baby's way better than its parents. Yeah, we're in there sorting stuff out. I did mention that earlier. You might not have checked it, might not have seen it, but we'll be doing lineup builders tomorrow before the deadline, Monfrere. Welcome to Sorare Roulette. Sure. Brian Hill, 28. Yep, he's cooking. Evening all. Pepetta, good to see you. Andre Nusco, Black Ops, LR, TGN Chrome. I think I got you, as well as Northern Sports Cards fist bump. Yeah, I think I did. Gully fist bump as well. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it. Do you need to upload ID to be able to buy any cards? I think there is a bit of KYC, but I don't think so because it's still an Ethereum-based platform. So I don't think KYC is in full effect, but I do think you need to, or do you? I would check my settings and stuff, because it will show whatever I've authorized, but I don't want to put that on screen right now. So I'll investigate later and come back to you. But 50-50, Tyler. Makes me think you're under 18. Just get, so it's maybe one of those ones where, yeah, watch out for the T's and C's. They will ban you, and cards do cost real money, so beware on that front. Anyone that plays SR, I started SR last weekend, dropped 100 quid. Opinions on my Midgetland stack. TGN, if you started a week ago and got a super rare collection on the go, then I tip my cap to you. It is, it's definitely not something at the moment I think a lot of players and managers are resoundingly confident in, especially a non-champion play. So that's an interesting one. Just clarify you do mean that. She said you've done it with 100 quid. So I don't know if that's one card or multiple. If the super rare market is that flat, then it could be cool, by the way. Soler 60% on to play at left back this weekend. Oh, ho, 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 ho. King Carlos getting that Kimmich role for PSG. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? Interesting. I might need to factor that in somewhere. Great stack to start off. Do you go in season or classic? TGN, is this for Midland? It must be classic at that price. In season, it was limited, Quinny. Oh, okay. So what does SR mean? Oh, you started Sorare. Sorry. Doi. Sorare. I beg your pardon. When will NBA start? Mini Sergio, I'm not an NBA aficionado, although I did get in on season 1 of NBA for a short time. But, like, probably a month to 6 weeks before the season starts, I would expect them to start to roll announcements out and whatnot at the very latest. Yeah, good start with limiteds. In season is the way to go, because I think if you are coming to the game new, like in season is just a shelter. It's just a protection of, users, essentially. So I'm all classic, right? And I'll talk about this in a bit more detail perhaps in the video, right? But like the essence strategy, which will be the title of the video. Yangel Herrera's coming off, so his score is secured. Did he get to 70 odd? Nah. 61. It could be enough. NBA is about 2 months away. Rafael Caseda, fist bump to you, man. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, I would expect some stuff imminently. They've probably been quite preoccupied with the football, although they shouldn't be preoccupied because I think they've got separate departments for this kind of thing. But I would expect something moderately, imminently, as we see Blind on a 71 with no clean sheet. Very interesting. I'd like to see Porto come off, but I don't think there's any options here on the bench, is there? Van de Beek, but he's not really a wide player. I think Joe Rocca, by the way, is a wide player, and he looked apparently good in pre-season. I've been getting some bids for him. So Joe Rocca, who's a rookie super rare I've got, has never kicked a ball for me. Would be great if he came on. Shiara, he's somebody to watch out for this year, perhaps, as a bench player. But anyway, that's by the by. So in-season protects you from me. Protects you from a lot of players who have been kind of rolling around the game quite often and building collections out. So if we look at my collections I've got rolling in for this year, if we look at rare, just because that's probably the most abundant one that I've got, all you need to look at is the multiples that are here and how many of them I've got. Now, I'm not a whale. I'm not a big, massive account. I'm a OG account. I'm playing with a lot of old money. I'm playing with a lot of institutional success where I've just been like compounding wins forever and doing my best to kind of ride the waves of it throughout. And like on almost every playable card I'm going to be using when this kicks in, they're all on 2% or more, essentially. Like my whole effective competitive gallery is probably in rare, really hovered around these 2 rows here. And there's a few ones that are maybe at 1% that I can maybe push to 2%. As we see, oh, by the way, is that Mizui? The sub for Yanghill? He scored? No, it's not. Almena? Another sub? 1-1. Who's got the assist? That's probably key for me then. Oh, both the subs have combined. Oh, jumping Jimmies. Both the subs have combined for that one. Jumping Jimmies, man. Who else came off? Porto. Oh, that's good. I think Porto should have came off. Let's see the build up here. Daily Blind to Ivan Martin. Oh, they're checking a handball here. I think that came off his shoulder. Ivan Martin from Blind takes it off his shoulder, pops it into Mizui in the attacking centre midfield position, lays the overlap, and then the overlapping right winger buys the space off the man with the dribble, and then that must be Almena, cuts it back to Mizui, and he puts it in the back of the net. He looks like a fun card, by the way, a very energetic player. Mizui. And that Almena doesn't look too bad. Never heard of him before, by the way. And I should know a fair bit of Jona. Anyway, but in season for Midgetland in the Challenger region, or any team really, when you go into Classic, you're going to be playing hundreds of mad bastards like me that have got 5s, 4s, 3s, and 2% on everyone. And not just that, but if these things are things you've owned for a while, then like, just need to look at this, right? I've not done this, so I don't really know how it's going to show out, but I expect it's going to prove my point. If I raise the card level here, can I see a total card count somewhere? So rare, 188, right? Let's lift it to level 10. How many cards out of 188 do I have at level 10 or above? 122. So 2/3 of my gallery are, like, if you're buying classic cards, secondary market, like, if the guy pops off, you're not going to catch me. And if we're building team stacks, which maybe a lot of these guys do fall into. I do have a lot of kind of singular kind of stud pieces or captain picks or however you want to think of them as differentials. So there's a few different things going on with like a gallery like mine. And I would say for people that have been playing the game over 2 seasons, I don't think my gallery's terribly distinct or whatever. It depends on budget and success rate and all the rest of it. But like a lot of good players, not all the smashers in the world. Enough variety to cover fixtures. I'll have bad weekends. I'll have good weekends. Pretty solid player, I would call FC Barcelona in the leaderboard respective here. And like on raw points, like if we match, I'm ahead of you, you know, because I'm just going to have these little pieces that might just push my team up a little bit higher, a little bit harder. And yeah, so if you're coming into the game new, you want to stay away from that for as long as you possibly can. Now, your in-season cards only have 1 season of that shelter, of that kind of comfort blanket, as it were, where you're away from the madhouse of Classic, as it were. But at the end of the 24-25 season, which we're about to begin, those cards become Classic, and then you will be in this situation where you'll have key players and key teams for you at level 10 and above with a collection bonus that'll get you an extra 2 to 5% more, depending on how hard you go at it. And then you can join in with the rest of us, and you're on a level kind of playing field. But I do think if coming into the game new, limited, rare, anything, super rare is not super rare, sorry, in season is certainly the way to go. With super rares, I don't have any kind of in season presence. You see there, I'm beginning to get season 4 of Celtic on the go. That's already at 2%, and as long as these are all at 4 or 5, like I'm always going to be unstoppable when Celtic rip. Simply putting it. And super rare is a little bit different because it's a more scarce division, and I always think my super rare collection, it probably reflects the average like limited budget gallery build if you were to go for Champion Euro, because my super rares are now only exclusively Champion Euro, except for like the Jona guys, because this is just a mad collection that have maybe transferred out region or whatever, which I just need to swallow that for the most part. But the rest of them are all on minimum 1%. I think a few of them should be kicking up to 2%. Yeah, I should have a bunch of them getting to 2% once a few cards age in. And hopefully at this level it just shows the prominence of the value of that a little bit clearer, perhaps. So yeah, so I like to think now the way that Sorare's changed or whatever, when we look at my teams and when I'm talking about the strategy I'm playing, it's something that's a lot more, I don't want to say relatable, but it's something that's a lot more crystal. Like you can see that the classic cards that I've been building up and making sure that everything I've just showed you has been in place. Like I have a champion super rare collection that I can play fixtures and I can have a good day in the sun a couple of times a season. I think is not anything to be too brazen about or whatever. And with rare, I think the same. Champions maybe a bit more of a question mark because of the quality of card I've got as an average, but with Celtic, like no problem at all. And you know the consequence of having good classic cards, super rare, rare, limited, whatever it is, the whole point of it is to get the in-season ones as quick as possible. I crafted my first cards the other day as well, and he'll be coming into action for FC Barcelona this weekend. It was a defender who I think actually plays up front, which I love guys like this. Very boomer bust, and it is like I've got no one else play, so don't mind a bit of that at all. It was a random first card to come out the factory, but also when a wee Iodine out of region from the global competition, so maybe we'll see what we do with that one. But anyway, in-season cards are what you're looking to acquire with your classic cards as quick as possible. Rapid card acquisition is what we call it at FC Barcelona, and the rapid card acquisition strategy is a big wallet or a solid classic strategy where you can roll out and fight as good as everyone else, if not better, whatever region it might be. So yeah, to come back to who was it? Sorry, TGN Chrome. I just subbed Porto for Missouri on Rivals. Must have been a glitch. No, you've now got like 5 minutes, do you have? Or 50? How long do you have to Rocca's been subbed off? Where did he finish on? 39. Started the game quite high, but maybe he lost some jewels, maybe get booked or something. I've not had my complete attention on the game since turning live. But my rapid card acquisition strategy when it comes to champion cards, which champion cards for me are the most lucrative, are the ones that everyone wants in terms of the market, the ones that have the most liquidity, the ones that are the most easiest to play with, as well as perhaps sell, flip, trade, whatever you want to do in the secondary market thereafter. And like game week 1 for the La Liga competition really couldn't have fallen into my lap any better. I think Rivals is 5 minutes for each. Ajax penalty shootout is crazy, 12 pence each. Wow. I'm not sure unminting card is possible. That many turned into essence. Yeah, I don't think they could. I don't think they'll do that. Maybe they could, by the way. Collection strategy best for newbies, in my opinion. Yeah, so going into Midgetland in season. So this is going to be proof in the pudding, what you're saying here, mate, because I bought a lot of these guys as they were coming out of season and I got them cheap, right? So the Sociedad collection is one that needs to wait to age in, and it's very close because of the sheer volume of cards. But that's about to tick into the 4% realm once I get a few guys. I need 4 of them to age in. But if you were starting in season with Midgetland, with Sociedad, with West Ham, Aston Villa, take your pick of club. Most likely for the budget players out there, you don't have the money to go and buy Real Madrid, Man City, whatever. You're looking for a team that's going to finish in the top half. You're looking for a team that is going to qualify for Europe, hopefully, if they're not already in it. And what you need first and foremost, and again, you'll see it in this kind of strategy here. Sadly, Dani Olmo hasn't been registered in time by Barcelona, and that news alone, by the way, gave me massive deja vu. Do you remember that summer they went out and they got Lewandowski and like Felix and Depay and like there was one summer where there was like, oh, they can't actually register some of these guys because financially they shouldn't have the money for them. And then at that point they'll initiate some sort of sanction from La Liga or some sort of penalty, and they always delayed it. And I can't remember who was the ultimate casualty of that. Stuani's about to come on now for Abel Ruiz. So if you want to take your Abel Ruiz off on 35, putting Stuani on at 35, no difference at all, and you get a live player. So that's an interesting rival strategy for anyone who has their sub remaining. Really, you've got nothing to lose with an Abel Ruiz unless he's been helping towards your tactics at this point. But yeah, so when they're at home to Rayo Vallecano, who I think cannot be an opponent I'm worried about for a Sociedad collection, then in the divisions I'm in, and sadly, the highest division I'm in is 2. I'm not in Division 1 this week, unfortunately. But I'm in Division 2, so I should get promoted. That's objective number 1, is to get into D1. But also, I should be picking up boxes, 10% promotion, so I can get a box and not get promoted, which is interesting. Not many cards. I don't know how hopeful I can be on cards, but with this being a league competition rather than a region, with the right scoreline, it's nowhere near impossible. Very possible, more than likely. This is fun how they do this now, isn't it? Some people don't like this UI. I don't think it's as bad as everyone made it out. Honestly, I don't see what all the kerfuffle. I've been on my phone for a week. I've not been in here. And obviously I'm on here now. Maybe it's because I've set teams up. It's a little bit easier. But yeah, man, I'm feeling quite good. I'm feeling quite confident that between like the La Liga effort, which is just Sociedad mad, and some of the guys are playing midweek, so I don't have a complete La Liga collection. I should have 2 teams going out in this eventually, as well as keeping 2 teams in rare, which I think I've done, yeah. And 2 teams in Super, 2 teams in La Liga, maybe for Classic, but I've got them running tonight in 240 Super Rare while it runs. Yeah, just about getting those in-season cards in as quickly as possible. And especially with like the Champions League situation, like the prize pool for it, for me, looks legit. In the Europa Conference League and all the rest of it, which Midgetland will have access to. Midgetland are in Europe this year, correct me if I'm wrong. So if you're buying an in-season collection of a team that is in European football, and it looks like the competitions are all going to be open for the game weeks that those competitions run for. Seems like the announcement was a bit of a fumble. I don't know if I'm reading the room incorrectly, so apologies if I am. But if you've got a team that gets a favourable fixture draw, because I think that's the way it runs now with UEFA stuff, it's just the draw of the fixtures list, who's your 4 home games, who's your 4 away games. And with a competitive squad that could maybe lose less than 3 games or less, then you could be in amongst it with the right collection in season, because it's 4 in-season cards, 1 classic. And yeah, maybe that 1 classic kicker card maybe does help the legacy players a little bit if they can bring in a 15% card like I could. But maybe it doesn't mean too much if so I can't edit for the lineup builder tomorrow. I don't know what that means. While I've got you live, Quinny, thanks to the gallery review, I've made 4 or 5 new signings and a champion goalkeeper for game week 504, which might be game week 2 now. Oh, we're going to need to adjust to all that. I'm waiting for my NYC collection to hit 5%. Just needed the 90 days ready for MLS to be back in Challenger. My first stack was Hoffenheim. Took until the second last game week, but it paid off. Hoffenheim were just... The thing with Hoffenheim, right, is they concede goals like a fucking motherfucker. Like, so like with a team, you kind of need to know the team that you're buying into. So I think Sociedad might be a wee bit shaky defensively this season, but just with the loss of Lenormand and really the no sign of any reinforcements coming into centre defence, I think Pacheco will have a good year, but alongside Pacheco, it's going to be Zubeldia or maybe John Martin, and they're just not, like, John Martin's an up-and-comer, could be great, but Zubeldia is, like, fine. He's just, like, random La Liga guy, as good as, essentially. Would you cry? So you kind of need to know the squad. And the reason I went with Sociedad, it was kind of a bit of an accident, to be honest with you. I won the Take Kubo. It was probably one of the best cards I won last year, but I won it quite early. And then very soon afterwards, Arsene Zakarian, who I'm a big fan of, had a limited card of because I could never afford the rare. But his jersey number was on auction and it was just going, it just went cheap. I know he's probably a lot cheaper now. 28 quid, 30 quid or something would I get it for? 111. At the time, that was quite cheap for him. And I think when he gets back into the team, those prices for an in-season, certainly. Classic, probably not. Could return. But I was really excited by getting him in, especially a jersey number, because he was somebody I was a big fan of when he was in Russia. And why is it not going back? Anyway, he was way better. I don't know why these scores look shit, because he was actually really good. Maybe this is only Sociedad. Doesn't want to show you the Russian history. Oh, good cutback. Oh, Stuani shat the bed here. Gutierrez. Oh, gutted. No, I don't think that'll go down as a big chance miss because it was a bit of a block. Never really got a full and proper shot at it. I hope that's not a BCM. Turientes starting, what do you reckon? I don't think so. Maybe, well, again, so Zakarian and Kubo, that was two cards that got this collection onto 2%. And I was kind of content there, right? But, oh, bet it's going close. Mark Bartra, by the way, if I shot from, no, not Bartra, number 4. So who would that have been? Oh, Johnny Cardoso. Nice shot from the edge of the box from him. Ian McMillan. Oh, what's Ian giving it? Couldn't. If Celtic face a pot team for you, could, I don't know. I'm lost on the banter. It's obviously taking a pop at Celtic, I think. I really like the makeup of this squad. Like, I do think Turientes has got a big future. Becker came in and got cards. I love the prospect of this guy who's went back to France. This is paying off quite easily already. And Oyarzabal and Barrenechea, I feel very good players. Along with now Zubimendi, who's really committed his future to Real Sociedad at this point. Never mind the defence. Traore, Pacheco, Galan, Tierney, I've got as well. Odriozola, Lenormand. Like, I just felt this was a really good squad. And if I could get all the guys I've got, maybe... Oh, I need the goalkeepers, right? I need the goalkeeper and fraternity to come in, but they're all still a bit punchy for who they are. Maybe I add in Zubeldia at an absolute push, but I really don't need anyone else in here. I'm really super content. And then this is just a foundation now. Sociedad are strongly going to be a top 6 side when they've got the backbone of those players I just showed you, certainly anyway. And as they move on, Lenormand to Atletico Madrid, who knows where a few of the other ones will go in their career over time. They are my base, they're my foundation. And then it's looking to pop in these other players that are migrating around. And if you look at probably my favourite team for, like, La Liga's fine because it's just all Sociedad. I did want to put RB Leipzig, Dani Olmo into this, but like I say, he's not been registered in time, so I went with Oyarzabal, the returning national hero who's got to be scoring a goal in that game. He's on penalties and everything. But if we have a look at what is my favourite team for champion, which the team name is Barcelona Ball, Castellanos, Mitoma, you know, like this is the sort of strategy I'm all about. Castellanos is pushing 15%, Mitoma is on 12, and Kunku and Angelino, huge bonuses with the RB Leipzig thing. And I'm playing a few different matches here. I'm asking for a few different things to go my way because they're all playing essentially for different teams at this point. But like individually, every one of these guys can bang. And like this is maybe not Sociedad based, but this is maybe formerly Leipzig based. And like you've seen like with the last one, if I had Leipzig, Dani Olmo playing in La Liga, then you can see how these things are kind of migrating and feeding each other. Castellanos leaves NYC, and like fair enough, his European career's not been a complete upward trajectory, but he's certainly been useful. And Mitoma, much the same, you know. So like, this is how I'm looking to compete and make up the difference. Is like getting guys, like I always enjoy Sorare, I like getting guys undervalued. I like getting guys that I rate, players that I think will be good, and then like watching their careers go. And you know, it's one of those ones where just try to see if there's another example of it. Kang in leave probably from the bench, but yeah, whatever. Guardiola down there, Magno down there as well. Again, these two collections kind of bump, all these collections really coming together for under 23, aren't they? Magno's on 15%, Guardiola's on 13, Cho is on something decent, Kang In's on 12, Tanny's on 12. Like, I've just got such good power. When all these collections all start to cross-pollinate, start to interlink with each other. And that all starts with something, and then it's like, you know, like the Kawasaki one is just like 4 guys. But I'm trying to think of another decent example off the top of my head. Even the Jona super rare, like Tati's in Lazio. I've got Riquelme at Atleti. Ali Ashes went to Leverkusen. So it's just about having that, for me anyway, playing the game long term, like season to season, and being aware of that helps you start to play in season. I don't want to say correctly, but it stops you from going astray. It stops you from wasting money. It stops you from making decisions you later regret, essentially, or players you know don't really get to use. Now, one of the more interesting things I would say with this, right, is the amount of players that I'm not playing, and I don't care. You know, did I even put them all in training? I think training is mainly the NG players. Maybe there's a few of them, like these guys here. 1 or 2 of them are not playing and whatever. But yeah, it's just all my Celtic cards for the most part in training. But I've got so many. What's the best way of looking at this? Probably champion. Oofed. Bettis chapping the door again. Let's have a peek. So what I liked about this UI on my phone is there was a little button somewhere that said take me to classic. Oh, I can just do it here, I suppose, on the desktop. Fair enough. It was quite slick. So let's reactivate this team and put. It's just I've got no goalkeeper, so I can't play anyone out. The Bundesliga isn't back yet either, and that kind of adds an extra few players. And I've played some guys like Guardiola under 23, but I've got here like, and I'm not saying credible Team 1 plays, right? But I've got Julian, Anderson, Manu, Starfelt, Lenormand. That's 5. Hamari Traore, 6. I've got 6 rare viable options there for Team 3 that I'm not, or Team 2 even, that don't make it into my team because I fancied the players I've picked rather than the ones I've not picked. That's just defence. Never mind midfield where I've got like Olmo, Marino or funny situations. Zakarian's injured obviously, but you can see just the actual, we've got Soler. That could be somebody that we bring off the bench as it were and maybe put into a team last minute. A bunch of options here. And again, that's not with Bundesliga back either. And again, look at this. With forwards, maybe we're waiting for some transfer news for Cherky and 1 or 2 other bits and bobs. Striker is my weakest position in terms of depth and quality. But that's the game. You need to be leaving players out, really. If you're playing the game well and you're having good lineups going out, you're going to have guys on the bench. You're going to have guys that you don't call upon for Sorare Pro in the game week itself, you know, because you've not got enough teams, you've not got enough goalkeepers, or maybe you're maxed out because it is free, you know, there is a limit you'll get to, you know, it's not unlimited entries. So, and this is a nice classic, isn't it? With some different things going on. Sorry, I'm just 6 minutes of added time. We're in the 90-second here as I watch it. Decent wee shot from the edge of the box, but a bit selfish. Should have maybe tried to square that. Just wait for me to win this weekend with my beloved rare Ipswich stack with its first run out, mate. I don't think you've got any chance. I'm sorry. But I think an Ipswich stack this weekend, I know I better be careful with my words. It's Arne Slot's first game, so there could be a banana skin. Like, Kieran McKenna obviously knows his guys inside out. Bit of a different situation in a lot of ways, but I'm sorry to say, mate, I think at home to Liverpool is definitely not a game. If I was holding Ipswich cards, I would be buzzing about. But I really don't want to piss on your parade, and I'm really sorry I said all that. Because you're going to beat them. But Robertson's still going to get a 90 somehow, because I've got him captain. No Leeds Cup coverage apart from 250. Yeah, it's one thing I noticed as well, is like the NYC guys I've got could only go 250. So, fine. I don't really care, to be honest with you, because it's the quarterfinals. So there's 4 matches, 8 teams involved. At this stage of the competition, really, who gives a fuck about utility? If you've still got teams going, it's a bonus. It's just with knockout football, not with Sorare or anything, you know. I've got an Ipswich defensive stack. I'm going to win the lot. Charlie Dunbar. Well, here, Muric could pop off 100. As long as he doesn't... Even if he does concede free, like Muric could get 50 AA, and then if he did, like, save a pen to bring it back to level decisive actions, negative and positive, or a last man tackle, which he loves, you know, I can see it. That, you know, I can see a I could see a tactical play working out, like the goalkeeper or a captain pick or something. I'm using 250 for training. Yeah, I can see it. The prize pool is something I'm not that excited about. So I did actually have better cards in this. Like I had, I've kept Quattro in there. I do think Quattro, by all rights and merit, should be in champion for me. But I've got Angelino in this team. I wouldn't displace him there. And it looks like Robbo's fit. So I really don't need him for this team either. So Llorente can come in here. Zubimendi, it's a weak midfield. It's a weak forward. It's my last team. I do need some reinforcements for this one. I need everyone to be fit and available, essentially. And then that team will feel a bit more strong. Memphis Depay being a free agent is a bit of a fucker as well for me, by the way. But yeah, game week 1 I'm mad excited about. I get to use a lot of fun cards, I suppose. But yeah, rapid card acquisition is the name of the game here for me. Because with the Celtic cards, like, I've started to get some in-season stuff for Challenger. I've managed to win some, buy some. So Iodine is Challenger. I beg your pardon, I mean to say Contender. Just click on the rare filter, just so we can clean some of the stuff away we're not talking about. Let's just do the region actually altogether. I've managed to, like, you can see the trophies here. I managed to win 3. I won another one. I won a Polworth from Kilmarnock, who actually maybe I should have kept now. But we gave him away to a happy home out there. I remember somebody put them, was it Shaforko maybe? Somebody managed to get them into a 240. So I can't remember how he scored at the weekend. Let's go and maybe have a wee peek at that. I hope he scored well. I love giving away cards that help somebody, especially if they go straight into a lineup. How did he score at the weekend? Oh, no way. Oh, no way. I'm so sorry, mate. I'm so sorry. At least he'd get midweek utility now, as long as Kelly get a decent fixture list. And by the way, Kelly at home in the Conference League it must be a, you know, Kelly could get some points, by the way. Fair play to them. One of my earliest memories, and correct me if I'm remembering this incorrectly, right? Scottish football fans out there. But one of my earliest UEFA Cup Scottish football memories is Kilmarnock playing Kaiserslautern and getting a decent result, or not getting hammered at the very least. So Kelly at home, you know, might get some points or whatever. But anyway, Bukovic looks like he plays up front. This guy's just transferred from Japan, not really broke into the team yet. But it's mainly that Celtic core. Forrest, who seems to be a wee bit more, yeah, it's a game over, I think. A wee bit more present than maybe some Celtic fans would have thought. 19 quid I thought was a bit of a steal. But Dyson, Kuhn, Laidlaw, that's the foundation of the team, certainly. I can get a few more in-season champion cards that also play, because guess what Celtic play? Celtic play Champions League. I've got the 2 forwards that'll be starting, and Dyson, Maeda, and Kuhn. So if I can get, I'll have Oblak playing for goalkeeper. I'll have, like, options. But I need an in-season mid. I need an in-season defender that will play Champions League. And I can win this from Champion. I can win this from Challenger. I can win this from Contender. I can win this from anywhere. Because my gallery is quite, for it not being like all the studs and all the apex players, it's quite mature in the sense of, like, so Celtic is like the team I support, right? So if you're coming in at Sorare and you've got a team you support that's on Sorare, it's definitely where most people recommend starting. Now, if the team you support is going to concede way more goals than they score, they're going to lose more games than they win, you probably need to shelf that for now, right? And that might come to be what I've got for NYC for you, right? But Celtic is my bread and butter. I know inside out kind of how it's going to go, and for the most part, and it's my team. I love to see them win, and having Sorare lineups pop at the same time, what a big part of what the game's all about. Especially for how the reward collections, sign shirts, ticket acts, actually give away tickets. They did things last season, certainly. Let's see what they do this year for collectors events, where it was just like, if you are the top, and chat will need to help me with the numbers, but it was like top 5 rare, I think, top 1 in super rare. There was some criteria around the super rare one, but it was like top X, Y, and Z collectors will get signed shirts, we'll get tickets, we'll get contacted for this kind of thing or whatever. And that in Contender is the game I'm playing, where it's like the team. So it's, for me, it's just about Celtic and Contender. I could not give a flying monkeys about anything else but Celtic and Contender. And the rapid card acquisition is, like, I've bought a few in season, I've won some in season as well from that region, although they're not particularly great as of yet, or maybe Duarte's leaving the region. Somebody's telling me he's going to Hungary perhaps, which should just be a killer. But the sooner I can get in-season access, the better, like we've said already. And for me, the Celtic collection should be scooping up, should be hoovering up boxes, cards, in essence, as good as anyone else in that region. So I should be able to get organically into contender in season with Celtic as it stands now, kind of year on year with what I'm building, as long as I continue in that kind of vein. Now, what I've got on the go with New York City, I'm a Man City fan as well. You should know that about me. I've supported Man City since the Gillingham playoff game. If you know it, if you're a football fan of a certain age, maybe you remember it. If not, go and Google it, Man City v Gillingham. That was the first full game of football I watched, right? And everyone at my school, their English team was Man United, and I didn't really like that. I was one of those kids where if everyone's liked a team, it wasn't really for me. It was all a Celtic support in place. It's kind of how it goes up here. It's either Celtic or Rangers for other reasons, mainly family and whatnot, and all the rest of it. But anyway, love Man City. I love what CFG are all about. I love seeing it kind of permeate throughout world football. For reason number one, I'm not going to get into football philosophy or anything tonight, or maybe we'll do that another night. Let's see. But like, I love seeing Brighton giving teams in Ecuador a couple of million quid. I love seeing Aberdeen getting a couple of million quid and what it does for, you know, the grassroots of football. And like, the thing with football is like, Messi could have been born anywhere on the planet. He would have been Messi. No two ways about it. Ronaldinho could have been anywhere on the planet. He would have been Ronaldinho. That's what football does. You know, Ange is a great example of this, and one of the main reasons I love him as Celtic manager. It does not matter in football who you are. I was going to swear again. Like, there's a good, somebody said it at one point, like, a football team would hire Saddam Hussein as manager, or Osama bin Laden, or whatever, if he kept them from relegation, or he won them the league or something, you know. And that's what football's all about, really, is it does not give a fuck about anything. War, where you're from, like geopolitical stuff. It doesn't care about anything, you know. And anyway, that's by the by for a second. But I've watched NYC since they were formed, and I really like that. I really like the fact that I've followed a team since it was created. I love the fact that Celtic are a really old and historic club, but I love the fact that I've followed this team like anyone else, like a remote Celtic fan, like a Celtic fan in America would follow Celtic. I've followed this team. Now, fair enough, since I've been playing Sorare, it's not been as vermin as it used to be, because I'm watching way more now because I've got a great excuse to. But this is the champion edition, as it were. NYC won the league the season before, and I got the full collection. I managed to get a player edition Maxi Morales card. Most of these are jersey numbers as well. But this is a team that generally, if you were going to buy this collection, you're not going to go and get all the jersey numbers and the Maxi and whatever, right? But this is like your Midgetland, you know, so you could get this in season, and it's like, right, okay, I'm going to go into this competition. Fancy this team. I like the makeup of their squad, and we're going to have a good run at it in the in-season. And then, like I spoke about in the champion set, and they can kind of permeate throughout there. But what I've got with Celtic and Contender is just like a real powerhouse, right? Because like maybe your budget can allow a powerhouse like the quality, the caliber of Celtic versus the field in champion. And if you can do that, brilliant. If you want to do it in Contender with me and all the rest of the guys, cool, bring it on. And if you want to go do it in Challenger, I think that's a great spot there now. Challenger is quite a shallow pool of available talent. And if you're going in season, like Classic is a bit more of a madhouse because it's just got Brazil and a few other bits and pieces in it where some power cards are, like Daniel Wass in Denmark and things like that. But as far as in season goes, it's definitely like less random crap that can go against you in terms of random teams that could just go off and outscore you, outshoot you. Because that's the most painful thing, is being outshot. When you put up 480 points and you're coming out with something crap, that's when you're pissed off, you know. But I do think, like, anyway, so the football doesn't know these regions. So if you're going to have that New York collection, if you're going to have that Sociedad collection, if you're going to have that Celtic collection, that Midgetland collection, your players will transfer everywhere. Like I was mentioning with the Super Rares, like I can't eat that. I need to eat that. I don't want to poison my essence. I'm not branching out region-wise up there, because that for me is like my stretch. It's like the top of it's my mass extension, as it were. So it's where I'm hoping to win big, and it's where I've got a lot of focus, and like I've got to be very particular on everything I do there, and it's got to be just so for like cold-hearted reasons. And I'm trying to give it a bit of heart with the players that I go for and whatever, right? But like that to one side, most people will play within like a scarcity, and over time on Sorare will kind of branch out. I'm not interested in doing. Maybe you don't become interested in that either, but the more you play this game, like you will like naturally, like even if we look at my Celtic cards, just for even if we can we do this the way I like to? I think we can now on Sorare. So if I go to Challenger, and then where's the league selection here? Yeah, so if I don't want to click MLS, so if we click Brazil just for whatever, right? Brazil, Super League, show more, Jupiler Pro, Eredivisie. I don't think I have any Eredivisie players, it seems. Sudamericana, friendlies. I don't think I'm missing anything. But Savic, Bernabe, 2 defenders. I've not really got a midfield here, do I? But between O, Magno, and Larson and Iodine, I've maybe got 1 forward every weekend. No midfield here yet. But give that another couple of transfers, and if I went and bought a Barkas or did something like that, because there's a few options like that, I could just get a Euro goalkeeper that goes into a 3% collection. That's where my web of madness comes in, because like I can get a guy that fits the bill. If I need anything, you give me a profile to fill a strategy out of anything I've got that's incomplete. I can go to that gallery, that collection board, and I'll find a guy of decent caliber that plays in whatever region and whatever position that I can reinforce my club with, that will keep my kind of edge here going throughout the seasons, as it were. So with Celtic, I've got the kind of cold-hearted, like, or not the cold-hearted, the unforgiving, like, that's the team. No matter who they play, no matter who they sign, no matter who they sell. And I've got some cards in there, like playing Croatia and China or whatever, just to give me a bit of a push, because it's quite a competitive division. Fine. But by having them in contender, New York, which is like your soft entry, like a team that's on a budget, they're in MLS, so they've got a lot of games they can play, and some of the players are exciting because they're young and Brazilian. And again, like, look at where this collection is went. Like, some of them are dead, like Tinnerholm and Callens and 1 or 2 others. But some of these guys have moved on, like Chanot's at LA, Amundson's at the Crew, Andrade and Heber are both in China, Magno's back in Brazil and seemingly on fire, Castellanos is at Lazio and I think on for a big year post Immobile. But this is a fun team. This is a really fun collection. So like I just feel, again, I looked at Challenger there, that was without MLS on, so before MLS goes away, there's something to do there. Smodix to Ipswich. Ooh, that's a good signing, by the way. I got an email asking what clubs I would want merch from. Nice. Nice survey. Did you win something? Nice. You'd think they share that on socials or something at least. The top collectors thing, they did at the time. You know, I don't think they'll do anything too far in advance that they aren't certain of. Maybe they're waiting on some confirmation. Because again, like, they have not finished the transfer window yet, so in terms of signed shirts and stuff like that, they've probably not made them yet, you would think. But you can see it from last year beyond, like, I say you can see it, but like, you need to go looking for these things, or need to be told they exist to know to look for them, I suppose. But Midtjylland signed shirts that I think people have them. When will MLS come back to Challenger for the start of next year? Yeah, MLS isn't over yet. So MLS will come back into Challenger. Don't know what game week it'll be, right? So sorry about that. 24th of August, 9 days. And this is the regular season. So the regular season, as we can see, runs all the way up until the end of October, mid-October, 20th of October, whatever you want to call that. And then it's playoffs, which some teams will get some more games for or whatever. But so I think what this represents quite easily is like NYC is like a good, your Midtjylland, your Columbus Crew, you know, wherever you want a kind of soft entry with. If you can't afford Real Madrid's and whatever, the team you support isn't great. If there's nothing in Champion that you think you can really get your teeth into budget-wise or appetite-wise in any way at all, then that's what's representative there. And to show you kind of how I have filled that out, again, because I like NYC, it's been a wee bit easier, right? But the next year, there was some missing cards like James Sands, Gabi Pareja, and Matthias Pellegrini, who weren't in the season before, who won MLS Cup. It's a big part of the reason that collection is special, is because it was the first time in their history that they won MLS Cup and they've got the star on the badge. So it just made, and it was the first time Sorare cards for MLS weren't just a big head. So that's why I've got that collection. But then I thought, I'm going to get those missing pieces. There's some rookies in here that I like as well. I need a new goalkeeper as well for this team. And I made sure I got that to a minimum of 3%. I'm not going to push that to 4%. And again, that's quite easy to replicate for the next season because there's a lot of rookies in this collection. And again, I've just managed to buy some rookies, get 1 or 2 players. Maybe I'll get 1 or 2 more. And I've got a consistent 3% there. So my NYC card should always be somewhat against the field. And I would recommend if you're doing something in season this year, you maybe look at that type of strategy next year. And again, I bought a lot of those guys. I buy a lot of them when they go off the boil. I try and avoid buying guys at peak as often as possible, which I know is an easy thing to kind of say, but I do try and practice what I preach in that sense. And I have done so. I don't think I've really overspent for those 2 extra collections. I don't think I spent over the odds for any of them. I think the James Sands is a jersey mint. Yeah, so I may have paid a couple of quid more for him than like whoever else. But Gabby Pereira went to Qatar, so he got mad cheap, mad quick, which I was a bit gutted about because he was brilliant in NYC and in MLS, and I'd love to continue that. But then Champion, when it comes to the collection that I've got there, and this is the main thing that's missing from this page, is a region filter now. But like my Champion collection, I think is a great way of building. I can't really do it on any filters, sadly. So yeah, I think like that. This is what's missing here. But it's a great way because Champion is the region. If you want to come into Sorare and you want to play for gain, to get better cards, to make a better team, to be able to sell cards for some money, to flip a guy on, to do anything positive about Sorare, win money, win shirts, whatever. Champion is the creme de la creme of real world football, you know. And I think like if you're going to go in and get a big Real Madrid collection, a big Man City collection, you can do that. You'll do well. Fine. Not how I roll personally. And although the all-star element of the game is gone in terms of an all-star competition, you can play Celtic cards with whoever you want, New York City cards and all that fun stuff. The kind of essence of what I'm all about, I can still remain within this Champion region where I can kind of pick parts of like, I really like this Red Bull collection. I've kind of buffed it up over the last couple of weeks, obviously, because of preparation for this year. I've made sure my classic is as fucking rock hard as I can make it. But again, look at the amount of good players in this squad. I could still go and get somebody like an Andre Silva for 18 quid that if you went back to fucking Benfica or Porto or something like that, it could be amazing. Could still be good in Champion Euro. I needed a Soboslai as well. But again, I just really like that season of cards. I've had a lot of them for a long time. And then that complements like the Sociedad thing really well. The Leon guys as well, there's about 5 of them here. Half of them are useless now, but Joki Anderson, Cherky, and hopefully Depay. It's 3 really fun cards. Atletico Madrid, this is the season they last won the league in. Manu Sanchez, Savic, Sol, Camelo, nobody great really, to be quite honest with you. I could use an Achi, and I had Trippier again recently, but it feels like it might go to Saudi, so I'm keeping clear. And then there's lots of, like a one Goretzka, I've got an Andy Robertson, I've got 2 cards here to 1%, so this is getting 2 guys cheaply off the secondary market, kinda. But like again, the Wirtz is a bit of a story, I won't go into it. But Wirtz and Frimpong, just 2 guys I really like. And just make sure you get 2 of them, get that extra wee 1% to keep me abreast of people. And anything else that helped illustrate that point? No, because they're all kind of scattered around thereafter. And I've got a lot of guys kind of cross-pollinating into it from other collections now. I've got a lot of Celtic defenders that have moved into Champion, which is good fun. But I think with game week 1, guys, this is the way the game. The longer you play Sorare, the more your gallery is going to not look like mine, but a lot of the stuff I've got going on where you've got a fingerprint here. Like you might not like Contender right now, but you might end up with something at some point. Because similarly to what I've got with European Challenger, you end up with like 3 or 4 really good guys leave a situation you wanted them for. And maybe they're better now in that region. And like just having like an entry is fun, you know, and just like if I completed all the collections here, I'd have a Barkas, I'd have a few more cards, I would have an operational European Challenger strategy without buying any Challenger cards, by buying Contender and Champion cards that have moved. And that's kind of the point I'm getting to here is like, you know, the more kind of bases you can cover, and some long-standing viewers and subscribers and whatever to the channel have maybe heard me saying a lot of this already in different segments and pieces. But now that we're at game week 1, it is the eve before. Like this is the way the game is played. For the better, I think, as well, because I think like I said before, it's just much clearer. So for all time on Sorare, there's been 2 like strategies. There's only really been one strategy, I suppose, and that's to make money, right? But before, it's been kind of like flipping cards, get guys cheap, sell them on. If you win cards, it's a bonus. And then there's been like competitive, and then there's threshold and a few bits and pieces, right? But I've always wanted to win better cards than I can afford, and I think almost every Sorare player is in that boat. So when I'm building, so I need to get cards, number 1, that I can't afford. And I also want to win money. So I need to have different cards, different teams doing different jobs. And that's what's been kind of going on at FC Barcelona for the last 4 seasons. But now that's very clear because there's only one place to really win cards consistently, and that's obviously Classic. Obviously, there's the midweeks where it's cash and money for the time being, certainly at the least. And if you want to win money, there was threshold, but yeah, there was also cards in there as well, and there was podiums, and there was also a lot of cards there as well. And really now, if you want to actually gain, like win pound notes, win dollar notes, whatever, it's going to be done in the in-season competition. So there's only really one way to, again, like I say, I'll buy some in season, like I've done for Rare already with Celtic or whatever. But otherwise, like I want to win in season champion cards to probably primarily sell them. So I'm kind of going back on myself in a little way without meaning it, but I guess it helps kind of keep everything kind of circular in a sense. But like, I'm probably not going to play champ in season. Like, I don't really see that happening. I don't see me getting, like, if I win Atake Kubo early enough, maybe changes things. I could have one team and maybe fight and have pick my moments. Could maybe do that. But 4 in seasons at Rare, I think, is a big ask. It's Super Rare, it could happen. Super Rare is kind of where I want it to happen. And I will unlimit tapping, so the requirement there is only 3. So it's a bit of a different game up there, a bit of a different strategy. But for Rare Champion, I'm not going to play in season. Probably. That's the plan. The plan is not to play Champion in season, and it's to win champ cards, craft champ cards, and sell them. That's the objective for me with champ for the most part. And if I hit podiums and all the rest of it, then grand. If I get way more successful than I'm giving myself credit for across 2 La Liga Rare teams and 2 Champion Rare teams, maybe I'll reconsider it. But I don't think, or maybe I need to keep 1 or 2 for Champions League. So I've got some Celtic Champions League in-season cards also. So there's maybe a wee bit of a balancing act there with developments even as I speak there. But with Contender, the Celtic stuff, it's 100%. The objective is to get in season, and it's to get there with the team I've got as quick as possible. I do have in-season J-League cards that I've won earlier on, which kind of helps that transition, which is fun. It kind of helped me out now, which is good. But with Challenger, I have no strategy other than I've got that NYC bedrock in there, and then see anything that happens. Players move in there, cool, fine. I might get a Barkas. Like, that's the only thing that I might do to then have a wee European roll at the dice at getting some cards out of that one entry. But one thing I did think about, by the way, is that for Challenger, see what I might do to have a bit more fun. I'm doing a limited giveaway to the members. I'm giving away all my limited cards. I think the Burnham Butt is going to be given away on Deadline Show tomorrow. And as with the Maxi Morales, I think we'll give them away on the Deadline Show tomorrow. They've been donated by the community, and we normally do that if we've got them. But I'm giving away the rest of my limited cards, right? But I did say I'm going to hang on to Threes and Barraza, and I might add Gun into that. Because if I hang on to Gun, I could just play all my shit in limited. And what I'm also planning on doing on the channel is, like, when I win limited essence, like, I'm just going to save it up. Like, save it up and craft a card and give it away to you guys, because I don't give a crap about limiteds. But if I could use my European collection cards with an Angus Gun that's got that championship utility, any essence I win will just help the rivals essence that I'll get, and that might just accelerate us on the essence path to getting you guys a big giveaway card. So I could just do that. So let's see how it shakes out with transfers. Let's see how, if it looks like, hey, could I do something in Rare meaningful? Probably not. It actually would take quite a lot at this stage, I suppose. But so yeah, maybe we will just do that. I don't really want to buy a Barkas. It's on 5%. It's the only thing that's tempting about him, because he'll be on 5% bonus and it'll be a big card. And with Magno being on 15%, it just feels like you could have one team that might just cook every so often and just be that pain in the ass. It's, everyone's like, oh, fucking Quinny won it, you know, with that fucking patchwork lineup. But also, that kind of doesn't turn me on, but that also, like, is something I like about the game, you know. So yeah, Contender, Rare, is firmly the plan to get in-season cards ASAP. And I guess, can we have a look at... No, we can't go any further on. I was going to see if we could have a look at it, but I can build all sorts of Celtic lineups and have lots of options, which is great. And I've got in-season Croatia cards kind of falling into my lap to help me, as well as some J-League stuff. And a Norwegian card. I've got Broholm, who's in season. And would you cry it? So yeah, I've maybe got a bit of a head start. I've got one team up and running already. The objective is to get to 3 as quickly as possible, as strong as possible. Hopefully all Celtic as quickly as possible through crafting. and, you know, boxes and card rewards and all the rest of it. Magno started with a bang. Yeah, I think he's been like a coiled spring. He's really good, and I'm so raging that Celtic didn't go in for him. Like, I don't think we really need him in terms of the winger position, but like he was available, man. I think NYC are taking a bit of a haircut on the deal as well. It's in dollars. It's like $11 million or something. So like Celtic could have fucking spent that on Magno. Would you cry it? I think the classic comps will be way harder than you think. I agree. I don't think like I'm going to be. That's my point. Is I don't think I'm going to be that prolific in classic champion compared to the Celtic stuff I've got going on, where I could accrue a competitive rig out to play rare champion in the season. So I'm not going to, because it's going to be hard AF. I did see the Galassi thing. I reposted it on Threads. Apparently Threads is going to be good for football content. It seems to be the word on the street from Fiago and Sam Ty, the football guy. I've seen those two posts within 12 hours of each other. I thought that's an omen. I'll start posting on there a bit more often. At Quinny3001 with an underscore at the end, if you're on Threads or Instagram. But Van der Voort has been declared not number one behind Galassi, but I don't know if that's a bit of platitudes. And Galassi's going to play the cup game. Maybe it's a bit of a curveball thing. I don't know. I'll be fucking raging if he doesn't. Again, it was kind of to be expected, right? That they're going to have to fight for the job, and Galassi's the club captain. I did say it, but I think like Van der Voort's going to play a significant amount of games. Like, I don't see that not being the case. Galassi, his best days are behind him. He's still good. I could get a Galassi cheap enough, then I don't mind the handcuff. Because he could move on and be very effective. Let's have a quick peek at that. Peek the wall. 140 feels a lot. Yeah, it feels a lot for a handcuff situation. I'm not about that. I'm about being economic with champ cards. Yeah, 1A and 1B, Charlie, it's probably the way it goes. But I think if like Galassi, and again, the thing that pissed me off about that post when I seen it is Galassi couldn't get a game ahead of Blaswich, who's now at Salzburg. Just realise the time, guys, and how loud I'm being, so I'm going to quieten down a bit with the exuberance. But yeah, in Challenger, like I really don't give a crap about Challenger. That NYC collection, I paid too much for it. I'm never going to sell it at this stage, so that's just going to do whatever the hell it does. You know, I've got some U23 guys. I've got some contender guys like Andrade and Hebert, which are fun now all of a sudden. Maybe I get a few more over time. Let's see how it shakes out. Got a champion card in Tate. And it is what it is. And yeah, like maybe we do that with the gun thing for the channel because that'll be fun. But if I was like not doing the channel, I would probably just buy a Barcast and then play like Bosun Lawal Defender and like, you know, bloody blah. Those other cards that I had there that were on screen before. And that's like a cheap way of getting in. Like again, Challenger's a bit shallow. Again, you can see different versions of like the strategies people will have at different stages. You might have at different stages, and like as things go on, like I think, like I said already, like as time goes on, your gallery will look more like mine in that way. Where you've got a club like Celtic that you're totally bought in with, and like this is my team that I'm running with, and then maybe some fragments of important teams like you like this season, and then maybe next season you like a different team for the squad, for the roster list that they have, you know. And then these things begin to dovetail and cross-pollinate. And then you come into the game week and like I've got a lot of options. Like that's the key thing here. Like my teams are fine. They're not amazing. They're not the best teams in the world or whatever. Fine. But I like every one of my teams. Maybe except for the last ones that I've picked this game week, so I'm short of a few. But I'm leaving a lot of players out that I was like, oh, should I put him in? A lot of those guys aren't making it. And that's kind of the strength of depth and quality that you do need to get to with this, where like team 1 maybe picks itself, team 2 maybe not too different, but certainly when you get to team 3 and then you're lifting the floor on team 3 by improving team 1 and team 2. So I've not really got a plan to buy champion cards, so as I'm speaking about this, like I don't really know how I do improve my top team beyond like naturally, like Nkunku becomes the next Palmer, or Castellanos becomes the next Immobile, or you know, these things naturally kind of happening. Or transfers, like O'Reilly goes to Atalanta and is like cheat code just because he works or something like that. Forwards for cap 250. Baranashea is on its start. and he's like L1537. 50-50. I fancy Barrenechea at the start left mid. I think Becker will come on for Royer Azabal. And somebody asked about Marino earlier on. With Sucic being in the building, like the Marino thing, I would be a wee bit sceptical on him. I'm not playing my Marino for that reason. So Barrenechea like for 37. Tati's also like 35 this game week. Lucas Martinez Quattra's a 39. I kept him in this team because of that, but he's away to newly promoted Parma. Don't see Parma scoring 3 goals. Quattra's a titan of a guy. He might get a DA. So I think he's a really good defender choice this game week for champion. I don't know if he would get it. Yeah, I've already done this, haven't I? I've already looked at it earlier. I've got a lot of copies of cards, which I like as well, because it's like less of a headache. Like if I know Tati's get a good game, Lazio are at home to Venezia, I want to say, yeah, then fucking jackpot. Let's slot him in. Let's check out Predictor Fibot, who will be the official lineup forecaster, I guess, for the deadline show. Let's have a look. Is Tati on to play? I'm sure he is, but I've not actually double checked it. Yeah, he is. 80%. Love that. Took a penalty in pre-season as well, which is always a good sign. Anything else? Atalanta are going to be playing Coop, are they? Juve won't be playing Coop. Not at this stage anyway. What's Juve's team looking like? Oh, yeah. That could be a great wee stack on the go there, by the way. If he's got involved in that. Anything else I just want to have a wee peek at while I'm sitting shooting the breeze with you? I sold Javi Lopez, so expect him to get 100. Quinny, do you have a Miovski for your Girona stack? Not yet. Do I want a Miovski? Super rare. I don't actually think I really, unless he shows to be Dovbike Mark II, that's the only time I would need him, because like I've got Devikas, and I put a post out like I could play Devikas, Werner, Edward, or somebody else. And that's with Cunha and Unal injured, and like guys playing in the midweek, and some guys that are also injured, like Mayoral. Like, so I think forward wise, maybe I'm just about there. I've also got Nicholas Pepe, who I hope breaks into the Villarreal team, Sakanikov. I think I've just about made the numbers up in attack at the last minute. Like, I feel finally like quite well rounded as long as everyone's fit for forward now. So yeah, unless Miovski becomes Dovbike 2, I'm not really that bothered about him, to be honest with you. I'm rather hyped for under 23s, by the way. It's probably the last thing I'll talk about, and I do need to go. I won't rush it, but because I say I've not really got anywhere to be, but to go home and get ready for tomorrow. But under 23 is obviously the last bastion of all-star, of global football that we have here on Sorare. And again, I just think this paints a fucking great picture of where your gallery is going to end up if you play this game long enough, and if you like play it smart enough for the most part. But I've got a team in Division 1 right away, and I did have this picked first. I did put Pacheco and Kubo in here, and like Kang In isn't projected to start, I don't think. Oh, yeah, Soler. Oh, Soler's definitely going to go into a team, actually. Soler's definitely going to go into a team, because this team, the last team I made in Champion, Zubimendi I think might do well, so I'll keep Zubimendi in, but Llorente I'm going to bomb out, because Llorente away from home in that right back position, I'm just never buzzing about that. He is like a last pick at the moment. But Soler, 12%, can call upon him if he's playing left back in that wee Kimmich role against Le Havre. Let's just captain him. That could be great fun. But I got quite excited by the D1 prospects in under 23, and I built the best team I possibly could. And I thought it just really weakened La Liga too much. And I thought, no, I need to get into D1 La Liga. So instead, I've got a good fixture. Stack it, go for it, run it, and then deal with this later. And I think this is still a good team. Kang In off the bench. We've captained him because like he's going to come off the bench and get 10 to 15 AA. We know that. We're just crossing our fingers that he can fucking put a decisive or two. Friday Night Football as well. And like, there's some decent cash up here. 3 stars as well. Boxes also. And again, because I'm getting my boxes from everywhere, really don't give a fuck about the essence mixture. Like, I really cannot get a bad card. I don't think Kang will start Black Ops, but I don't care. Oh, some predictors don't have Soler in, by the way. Okay. Well, this is the one that matters the most, I think. Kimi Beraldo on 40s. So if he plays Baraldo left back, is he going to play Pasho? He's going to debut him. I could maybe see that, by the way. I could maybe see that. I'm going to de-risk. If it's, we'll wait till the deadline show. We might swap that around. I'll put Llorente back in. I don't think I've got anyone of better note. Maybe Julian, by the way, is worth it just for the shits and giggles of it all. Werner from the bench. Marino is a hedge on Zubimendi. Becker could come off the bench and be really effective, but I just feel awkies about putting him in this team. I've got one sub in a team. I don't know if I could stomach two. I could play Edward. This is probably the last spot I've got the biggest headache over because all these guys are starting and going to do well. This is the last one, which is really tough for me. Lenormand is going to start, but how well is he going to do? Camelo's playing Sociedad. I think I want to stay clear of that. So yeah, I just went Llorente for security. Maybe Julien's a man. Let's just put fucking Julien in there for the giggles. Go back to Captain Robbo, but sorry, Ipswich. Dodgy weather predictions in Japan. When will the lineup builder start tomorrow? Kind of, so I'll be doing the school run with the kids tomorrow, about 9ish, and then making my way in here and just setting up and stuff. So around 10:30 is when I'm planning on doing it. And I'm hoping to do it for around an hour, hour and a half, till about 11, 12ish, and then get set for the deadline show. Struggling to pick between Cohen or Dimitrievski. Ooh. Dimitrievski moved to Valencia, didn't he? Dimitrievski is a very good... I'd spell his name. Listen, sure it was Valencia he went to. Yeah. Very good AA keeper. Formerly of Rayo, who did concede way more than probably Valencia will. I kind of like that, to be honest with you. I think you've got a Valencia footprint already, Charlie. So I think that and he's an international, by the way, which Mamardashvili just walks into that void, doesn't he? Edward has been class in pre-season, apparently. Let's put fucking Edward in. I just needed a wee nudge like that. I was going to put him in over De Vicus. I'm not going to lie, for La Liga, I'm almost certainly always going to refer to this. I'm never going to drop it. I think De Vicus has been red hot in pre-season and got the number 9 jersey now since Strand Larsen's been sold. Let's put Edward in over Julian. That feels better. Luca Romero could be amazing at Alaves. Yeah, I'm really excited about Luca Romero, who is now nationalised for Mexico. So that could be some international utility that is forthcoming and a plentiful. Let's put Eddie in. Fuck it. I wanna be Edward. I wanna be Edward. But yeah, guys. Let's see the results. How have we finished this game week up? And then we'll be back tomorrow for members lineup building, as well as the deadline show. Where the hell am I looking at? Results. Bar steward, man. Oh, well. It was good to know you, Cap 240, but off you go. Hebert, yeah, mountain to climb. Not going to hold my breath. And we're clinging on with our fingernails here. This is dead in the water. Did we get close? No. Did we get anywhere close? No. Oh, well. Thanks, everyone. I'm learning. I'm leaning Dimitrievski. I appreciate the thoughts. I think, like, you do have a Majeki as well. I don't know if that's just a super rare or a rare, but you know the Cone situation is going to be short-lived as well. So, like, Dimitrievski just feels way more like the play. If Cone is like a handcuff situation, you're just keeping your Monaco presence going, I kind of get that as well. But, like, I would get the Dimitrievski and then don't be getting Cone later. If Cone dips in price or something, maybe catch a wee bit of that with a bad score, perhaps. See, maybe a bit more premium at Monaco. I'm trying to get Romero before the deadline. Oh, that would be good, man. Romero would be a great ad. Enrico man's doing with Alaves. Like, Alaves is a really, again, forgive me for saying this, there's some good players in that Alaves collection. But Alaves is a bit of a watered down version, maybe, of uh, the not even watered down actually. Who the fuck am I saying? But the NYC kind of play where you've got like this season here, we've got 5% on it, 850. Every significant piece. Probably this is like the Sociedad one actually, isn't it? Like some of these guys are really good. Like some of these guys are good players that'll have good careers you can use. Not all of them, but some of them. And then this season, you've got the same kind of thing on the go. And then if you do get some of those incoming transfers like Luca Romero, Stoichkov, I think is new. Luca Romero, there he is. Awonwo, was he there last year? I think he was. Manu Sanchez, which I'm a fan of. Good left back. Be good for Alves, I think. That's a good way of getting your budget team on up and going, you know. And again, we kind of felt like this, but if we could see Rico Man's champion, you'll probably see there's the same kind of little thing on the go. There's another Alves collection. Just a little one. Not a big roster of players either. So I love that. Love to see it, mate. But yeah, Christmas Eve. I hope to see you all for the deadline show tomorrow for game week 1. Thanks to everyone that joined us live. Fist bump to everyone that joined us after we've been live. It's been an absolute pleasure. Stay out of trouble. Good luck this game week. And yeah, for all the rest of them that we get. Take care.